Hello, Solo Board Game Guide here, and this is an unboxing come first look, for me at least, for Gasket, which is an add-on character for Too Many Bones. It was released at the same time as Undertow, the standalone expansion, which I've been playing a lot, and actually I've got a big old pile of shame up in my loft, hidden out of the way, with pretty much everything. I went in hard and backed pretty much every product at the time within the Too Many Bones line. So this is Gasket, not a Gearloc, but in fact a hydro robot, water-powered robot, built as the personal sentry to Mirrorwatt near the break in southern Delore. This hydro-powered steambot is a powerful ally to the Gearloc cause. So it's a bit of a weird one, and very different to the standard characters. Now, for those of you who aren't regular watchers of the channel, you may or may not know that I'm currently designing my own solitaire role-playing game / tactical combat game, and there's a link for the newsletter down in the description. But this is a major inspiration for my design efforts, because there is so much theme and flavour in these characters. Absolutely unbelievable. As usual, the production quality is mental. You can see that sort of spot finish that they've put on. It's just incredible quality on a product that pretty much you can take the mat and the chips out and put it in the original box. So you might say it's pointless. You're definitely paying for all of this loveliness. Let's have a look inside. This is actually the first Too Many Bones add-on character that I've opened. I've somehow managed to summon the patience and keep them all in the loft. These little spot finished symbols typically are the symbols that are actually on the dice themselves. Right, how's that for a big old box for some tiny components? We have dice in an attractive brown. Foam inlay. We have a mat sealed. Get that open. And as usual, it's the neoprene finish mat. Absolutely great. If for some reason you've stumbled across this video and you have no idea what you're looking at here, click up here now for sort of an introduction to what Too Many Bones is. It's a fantastic dice building RPG, and of course we have the plastic finished reference sheet. So let's have a look at the mat itself. We'll zoom in for that. So, a Gasket, this steam-powered / water-powered robot, water, steam, same thing. They've got a few career paths, as it were, a few ways you can level up. Hydro-powered, we've got 3 modes. These are usually called, I think, careers, but we've got, a bit sketchy on the old font there. Derail, mode destroy, mode direct. That's the first time I've actually seen any kind of problem with the font there. Derail, I think it's probably my eyes. Extremely low health, health 1, 1 attack, yet 4 actions and 4 defense, which thematically makes sense, I suppose, as it's less likely to run out of energy, and it's made out of iron, effectively, so high defense. So let's have a look at the slots. Pretty standard here. Active and lock slots, 3 of each. And we've got some backup plans. So first 2 spaces being hotfix. We've got dehumidifier, reprogram, and power strike with the usual 6 bones to upgrade to innate +1. So with that, let's have a look at the innate skill. Innate, and this is the first time I should perhaps have done some research first. But the innate skill is it's a steambot. Gasket starts with the hydro valve and primary canister skills. Skills are not exhausted when used. At start of battle, Gasket may place defense in an active slot up to half the defence rounded up. Okay, so it starts with even more available defence, which is quite a nice touch. So let's have a look at some of these dice, and we'll have a look at the 2 and 8 skills of Hydro Valve and Primary Canister. So this is where the reverse comes in. We've got the Hydro Valve and the Primary Canister here. So that's dice 1 and 2. Let's have a look. That's these guys. On them we have green bone. Green bone meaning you must place that in a backup skill and use that skill. And that symbol meaning it's just Hydro Valve. At the end of the turn, lose or reduce by 1 Hydro if you didn't spend it this turn. Okay. And we've got 2. Dice 2, which is the Primary Canister, which is just the amount of Hydro. That's effectively like the power that you use on some of the skills. So let's stick this in the mat. We've got our Hydro Valve 1. We've got a Primary Canister 2, which I believe you start at 5 and then you uptick it down. You can actually upgrade these to have a secondary and tertiary canisters to give you even more Hydro to use on some of the skills. So let's have a look at some of the paths, and in fact let's look at a sample build. Okay, so beginner stat build. Health is a must early on. Oh, we've only got 1, so that makes sense. Add at least 1 right away and maybe an attacks to stay dangerous. Then add a couple of HP. Dex becomes important further on as you start to want to throw more dice. And skill-wise, Cut is a great early game when you don't have sustainable damage. After that, directives offer free dice every turn, whilst Ram allows for some movement that can aid in your positioning. So let's look at Cut. Cut is a dice on the mode Destroy. So basically we've got a miss, and then we've got this symbol here, this symbol meaning cut. And basically you place a bleed effect die on an adjacent unit. Also place bleed effect die on the unit directly behind that one. That's unbelievable, affecting 2 units in a straight line. If you're not familiar, bleed is an effect whereby the affected unit takes a damage at the start of every turn, so it's really good for creatures that have dodge and also anything particularly nasty. For example, I think it's Perch on one of the baddies, Volkesh, I think. Really difficult to get for the first turn, so if there's a way you can get bleed on it without targeting it, even better, because this is another nice effect. Some creatures don't like to be targeted, so you can actually hit a target and then the thing behind it is untargeted, so that is fantastic. So let's, in this imaginary build, we will level up on adventurer mode, which will basically give me 1 health, additional health, so it'll be on 2 health, and then I'll take the recommendation of Cut. And these stars here, again, if you're not familiar, these stars show that they're a starting skill in that path. So for example, I couldn't have Get without first having Cut and progressing through from Cut, Gut, Get, Grab. Oh, hang on, from Cut to Gut, or I could have gone from Grab to Get. So let's have a look at this particular skills path here. So this is the orange is the mode Destroy. So it's obviously the damage dealing element. So Gut will be the next one. Gut being dice 13. Let's have a look at that guy. We've got a few symbols on here. What am I on about? That's grab. So it's actually dice 10. Okay, dice 10 gives us a few different. We've got a heart with 2 on it, a bleeding heart with 2 on it. That is Gut. Deal 2 damage, or 1 damage, I guess, to an adjacent unit with a bleed effect die on it. Place Gut on that unit until it's defeated. So that basically works in conjunction with Cut. Cut and Gut together basically is going to wipe out things really quickly. So the damage this thing can put out is ridiculous. Unit immediately loses 1 health position for each position it moves. So if it tries to move to you, then it's going to suffer even more. And remember, baddies do actually have to move towards you if they can target you, if they're a melee baddie. We've also got, in this line, we've got grab, which seemingly has just got 1 bone and then grabs and a 1. So that's this character here. So we've got deal X damage to a unit 2 or 3 positions away. Place this die on it. It lasts the entire battle. So it's either going to deal 1 or, yeah, just 1 damage, or it just grabs. In which case, and place this die on it, lasts the entire battle, whilst this unit attack stat is reduced by 1. When the unit is no longer 2 or 3 positions away, grab is removed. So that's an interesting die there. And get, the final one, looks like it's going to deal X damage to a unit with grab on it, remove grab and place a unit on a position adjacent to Gasket. So basically you put grab on a character, it deals some damage to it, and if it's got grab on it, then you can pull it towards you and deal additional damage. So that is pretty crazy. Right, let's have a look at the derail mode. And I believe derail and destroy possessions all use 1 dex to roll. However, they also use hydro. So this is like, in addition to dexterity, you're going to tick this thing down. So effectively you get 5 special actions per turn. And unlike other Gearlocs, the skills, once used, aren't exhausted. They sort of go back in at the beginning of each round, which is quite interesting. So what else have we got here? We're going to have a look at derail. So that's the purple skill line. All these guys. Here we have Blitz, Blast, Ram and Scram. So let's have a look first at Blitz, which is dice 3. Dice 3 has seemingly these symbols, like a sort of bullet symbol, I guess. 1, 2, and a bone. And Blitz is an energy arc. Deal X damage to an adjacent unit, all units adjacent. So it's like a splash effect by the looks of things. Yeah, it doesn't affect Gasket, but it does affect other Gearlocs. These symbols, red, from what I understand, is basically you roll these dice up and you have to do them. It's just like a random. I think you get more skills for your money, but it might be bad, basically. So we've got Blitz, which is effectively splash damage. Then we've got Blast. Let's have a look at Blast. Blast, we've got some weird old symbols here. So again, we've got bone. Look at that, scratch. And then this symbol, which might make sense when we look at it. Blast, deal X damage to a non-adjacent unit. So it's basically just a range attack, even though this Gearloc is actually, oh it is, look, it is melee ranged. So that explains that dice then. Okay, so we've got splash damage, we've got range damage. Ram is dice 7 and has this sort of weird circular saw symbol. Dice 7 Ram basically has circular saw or circular saw 1 Ram. That allows you to deal damage to an adjacent unit, move that position. Oh right, so you can push it away and move into that position. That's very similar to something from Hoplomachus. Can't remember the skill, but basically it's like a push type mechanic. And then we're on to Scram, which is dice 8. And that here gives us, oh, it sort of looks like a cobra. I'm sure it's not. Quite often it makes sense. Scram. Gasket may move. Oh, it's a leg. Huh. That's his legs. Some kind of hydraulic leg. May move up to X positions. So presumably if I was to roll that, I get 3 movement on that roll without having to use any dexterity, which is pretty cool. Okay, what are we on to now? So that's our derail mode. We've seen these. We've got our hydro, primary, secondary, tertiary canisters, which is just a way of storing up effectively action points for derail and destroy. Then we've got our consumables, and we'll come on to this last. Consumables power converter. Okay, so that's this guy. Distinctive yellow dice with flames on and a nothing, not even a bone. Oh, 2 nothings. What's that about? We've got, discard a loot, set die to max. Reduce 1 to self-heal. Oh, okay. So you burn a loot, set it on fire, and this goes up to 3, and then effectively you get 3 additional health points. So that's super cool. So that's well worth getting. One of the consumables. Awesome. Right, last thing then that we need to have a look at is this direct mode. Dice 11, 12 and 15. Sustain, utility and aggro. So these are the direct modes. Directives don't cost dex or hydro to use. If directive dice are rolled, they have to be used. During revolve and roll phase, when Gasket decides to resolve its directives, it must resolve them as a group, but you can choose the order. Okay, so assuming that I have these dice available, then this roll would allow me to do the following. Looks like I've got a grab, I've got a range, and I've got a 1 shield, which I presume is just a must add 1 death die to an adjacent unit. That's interesting. So what I could do is I'd choose the order of this. I could effectively shoot an enemy, use a grab, deal damage 2 or 3 units away, and then put a death die on an adjacent unit. Some of these, that would be awesome. That is a fantastic roll, but some of these aren't so good, and I believe they will allow things like Hydra to be used up and so on. Actually, they all look pretty good, to be honest. But it presents you some interesting options, and what you make up in the dex efficiency, you lose in total control. Also, there's no things like get. So this looks like a super interesting character to play. I wonder what the innate +1 is. So Steambot Pro, same benefits as Steambot, except you can now place def in active slot equal to defense stat. So instead of at the start of battle getting half your defense stat rounded up, you get the full defense stat. So at the start of an unmodified battle you get 2 in an active slot. At Steambot Pro you get 4. How cool. The final thing we haven't looked at is the chip. Again, possibly a weird colour choice. Going brown. Usual quality. I don't know whether this is actually coming quite scratched, actually, straight out of the box. It's a bit disappointing. But to be honest, it looks miles worse on camera than it does in the flesh. And then we've got the stars for the innate +1. So I'm really looking forward to playing this. I recently did a playthrough. If you made it to this point in the video, thank you. I'm going to play a game with Gasket. It's probably still going to be an Undertow game. Can't wait to get stuck in. At that point, I'll probably have a good look at the backup plan. Some interesting stuff there. But that is Gasket add-on character. If you like these videos, do subscribe to us. We're just about to hit 1,000 subscribers, which is quite exciting. And loads of Too Many Bones content. I absolutely love the Chip Theory line. Hoplomachus, that's in there as well. Board game design. This, by the way, is a little board game project I made. It's a hidden gaming table. There you go, just my kitchen table. Or is it a gaming table? It's both. And then these little guys here are some 10mm miniatures that I've been painting up for my upcoming Solitaire RPG. There's also some miniatures content. So do subscribe, you'll love it. And that was Gasket. See you soon.